Hello everyone, welcome to Midweek. Glad you could join us this week. It is June. June is, we're about to enter into that summer season, I think the longest day of the year, June 21st. And I realize not only in the seasons, we're moving from spring, getting ready to go into summer, but I've witnessed in a lot of families recently what I would call general change or even seasonal change. From one kind of cycle to another. For example, sometimes death can bring that. When somebody dies, we enter into a new season. When somebody graduates, we enter into a new season. When somebody gets married, we enter into a new season. When you have children, all of those lead us to a new season, but the word sometimes that we don't like is it brings change. And I've watched over the years, sometimes people fight change and sometimes people kind of embrace it. So as the seasons change from spring to summer and your children are graduating and they're going to a new school or just whatever change, I thought I would reflect for a moment because life goes on. I think you've probably noticed that. And you might resist change, but change doesn't resist you. It comes and grabs you and it lures you in, and sometimes it even drags you in. So I want to just give you some thoughts on how do I embrace change so that it doesn't break me. Let me give you just 5 thoughts on this, and it's going to apply in a lot of different places as I am just spending time with people, shepherding people through, and boy, sometimes that change is hard. Let me give you 5 thoughts. Number 1 is recognize it. We're in a different season. We're in a different season with our parents. We have one parent left for Carrie and I, and it's a different season. We're in a different season with our kids. We're in a different season in a lot of areas. And sometimes just speaking it, it's like, you know what? We're in change. We're embracing change. It's going to be different. Is to just kind of speak it and recognize so that, you don't kind of keep putting it off. And each of those changes actually brings significant differences. When your kids graduate from high school and go into college, there is a massive change in maybe how they see you and relate to you and their experience of what we call freedom. So just recognize it. Number 2, embrace it with trust. In other words, don't fight it. You're not going to resist change by fighting it. What you'll probably do is frustrate the situation. You'll get into things where it's difficult, but part of it is you can embrace it because God's leading you. God's not abandoned you. God hasn't said, hey, you're on this on your own. Embrace it. Embrace the change. Embrace the differences. Sometimes people, if you're in management, and some of your most faithful, maybe workers or, people that are managers under you, they're leaving and you're like regretting it and you're like frustrated. No, embrace it. These people are going to move to someplace else. When you embrace it, you're not necessarily saying, I'm happy you're going. You're just simply saying, change is part of life and I bless you. And sometimes when we embrace something and we trust it, it's a way for us to not only receive that which is new, but also to bless that which is leaving. So I want to encourage you to embrace the change and embrace the transition. Third is prepare your heart and mind through it. Probably a lot of ways you can do this. I find it best to simply pray my way through change. Praying in terms of what's next, God? Praying, Lord, help me to respond well. God, help me to always have an optimistic attitude. Lord, help me to see this thing from your perspective. I'm absolutely convinced that God has never panicked through transition. I can. And so I pray my way through transition and change because it actually Peter says, cast all your anxiety upon God because he cares for you. Best way I know how to do that is just, Lord, take this change, take this new season, and I just offer it to you. And Lord, would you take this And would you lead me? And would you give me your perspective? And would you give me wisdom? So embrace it. Embrace that and embrace the change that God has for you and the things that He'll teach you. Number 4, let go and move forward. Paul says, forgetting that which is behind me, I'm going to take a hold of that which is before me. I've often felt that sometimes God brings a vision or reality to its end. And you have to sometimes let certain visions die before you can embrace that which is new. Paul says, I have to release before I grip. Sometimes that releasing is not easy. If you have a death of a spouse, that is a very, very difficult release. God, I just want to give that to you. If you have a person that you've worked with for 20 years and they are just a partner to you, releasing them is not easy. Sometimes when your kids are moving out and they're going on to college and you're happy for them and you're just really sad. Releasing them is not easy. But if you don't release and let go, then you can't take a hold of that which God has for you. And that's all of what God is about for us, is releasing the past to take hold of the future. That's why sometimes change is hard, but also necessary. Paul says, forgetting what lies behind. You and I cannot live in yesterday. We can't live in last year. We can't live when our kids were innocent and 5 years of age or whatever the case may be. We can't live there. All I can do is take hold of that which is in front of me. So I have to let it go. And last, I think, is celebrate. I love new seasons. I get bored with the old one. I'm done with spring, ready for summer. And summer brings gardening. For those of you who love to garden, it brings a whole nother level. Spring, yes, but summer just offers something. And in every season, I have discovered that there's something new and fresh and exciting that God has for you. What the enemy wants to focus you on is that which is disappointing, that which is what you lost, that you cherish, that you think you can't live without. And every new season God has. They tell me that depression is significantly rising in a certain group of people, seniors. I understand that. I do. In some ways, maybe our senior years are more marked by not acquisition of things, but maybe the loss of things. You know, our body doesn't work quite as well, and maybe our eyesight doesn't work quite as well, our memory doesn't work quite as well. Maybe at some point we can't drive and we lose independence. And so life is not about what we're grabbing. And so I think in some seasons of change, it takes a lot of faith and a lot of commitment. But in every season, I have a dear friend, he's 91, and he's living limited and different than he's ever lived, but with amazing optimism. And here's the reason why. He's always looking forward every day to that which God has for him. That is new. And at 91, he's still doing that. He's a model to me. He's a friend to me. And I want to encourage you. When God brings you to these seasons of change, don't fight them. They're going to harm you. But you can do these 5 things. Recognize it. You can embrace it. Why? Because it's the process of trusting God. You can prepare through prayer, getting yourself to God's perspective. You can let go. You have to let go. Because Paul said, forgetting, letting go of what lies behind, I want to move towards. And then in the end, celebrate. Because the best is always yet to come. When you and I walk with God, the best is always yet to come. Ultimately in heaven, but until then, God has some great things. So enjoy this change of this new season. I look forward to summer with you. We're going to be in the book of Psalms this week, and we're going to be looking at some new ways, languages that God gives so that our heart can find language to talk with God. Have a great week.